Omar Kazarski, Creative Director of Bauer Web Solutions here. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to a WordPress plugin known as Visual Composer. This is a third-party commercial plugin or add-on that you buy and install onto your WordPress, which gives you a little bit more of a visual editor in laying out your pages and also adds a few bells and whistles. I'm currently logged into my WordPress site and I'm working on a standard WordPress page here. And as you can see, the edit page window here looks as it would in any normal WordPress installation. What I'm going to do is I've bought and installed this Visual Composer, which is Visual Composer 4.7.4 plugin. So I've activated that plugin. So now if I go back to the page that I was editing, you'll notice it looks primarily the same. However, we now have this new section underneath here. And there's a button here that says Backend Editor. If I click on Backend Editor, I am now presented with this interface. Right now I have a blank page. So I have two choices. I can either start to add elements or add a text box, or I can choose some pre-designed layouts here as part of this installation of Visual Composer. So I'm going to show you how to add a basic row element and then add individual elements inside of that. So first thing I'm going to do is click on this plus symbol here to add an element, and these are all the various elements that you can add. Some of them are WordPress standard elements, others come with as part of the Visual Composer package. Your basic building block is a row, and that allows you to organize your content into rows, and each row could be either full width or divided into a number of columns. So I'm going to first add a row here. So this element that's added here that you see moving on my screen, this is my row. And I can determine how many columns that row has, or if it's full width, with this interface right here. So I can make my row 2 columns or half and half, or make the left side 2/3 of the width and the right hand side 1/3, or divide it equally into thirds or quarters, or basically anything, any combination of rows that's equally divisible by 12. And I'm going to keep it simple. I'll just do a half and half row assignment here. So in each row I can add an element by clicking on the corresponding plus symbol in each column. So if I wanted to, I could click here in that first plus symbol and I'll just add a text block. I'll just use the basic text for now. You'll notice how it's the same basic text editor that you're used to in WordPress. We have a visual tab and the text tab. So I would make whatever changes that I need to here. Maybe change the heading. I would save the change here. So now if I wanted to add another element in this column, I click on the plus symbol, and maybe I'll try something different. I'll add a single image here. And by following the prompts on the screen here, I'm going to add an image. Maybe I'll add an image of this dog. I'll set the image. And again, you just need to just read the screens here. It's telling you to enter the screen size. And I'll say, you know what, I'll make it full size. I don't need to add a caption. I can change the alignment. Maybe I'll change the style and make it a circle. I can even give it a little bit of animation if I wanted it to maybe appear from the center. Okay, so each one of these elements has its own unique kind of settings. So I'll save that, and let me update or save my changes here so we can look at this. And there's my element. I'm going to just change the layout here to full width so you can see it a little bit better without the widgets on the side here. Okay. So that constitutes my first row. So if I think that that's a little overwhelming, I can change the breakdown of the columns within my row. Remember, we have this interface here. Maybe I want to make it 5/6 on the left-hand column and 1/6 for the right-hand column. So now, if I were to update that and view the page, I'll see that now that picture is a lot smaller there. If I edit this page, let's say I'm going to add another row, I could click on the plus symbol, the big plus symbol on top, add another row. Here's my other row. I can add an element inside of that, and let's just say I just add a text block as well. Now if I wanted to change an attribute of that particular row, or any of my other elements here within Visual Composer, when I hover over this little pencil here, it's going to edit the row. So I have different options here. Maybe I'll give this one a background color. And let's say I needed to change something about one of the elements inside this row. When I hover over any of these elements, you'll notice how these green icons appear. So with these green icons, I could actually edit an existing piece by clicking on its pencil icon. I can duplicate it, so I have an exact copy of that. I can relocate it by clicking and dragging it to a different location on the page. Or I can delete that element by clicking on a trash can. So I can also relocate these rows in the layout as well. If I click and drag by its top left-hand corner, I can drag a row above or below an existing row to reposition it. So if I update this now and view this page, you'll see here's my first row, which I colorized with a background of yellow, and then the second row, which remember we broke into two columns, the left-hand column being 5/6 of the width, and the right-hand column being 1/6 of the total width. If I ever needed to go back and edit the page as a standard WordPress interface, if I click on this button here that says Classic Mode, now this shows you the standard kind of WordPress interface, and all of those features that we've seen there are being executed by shortcode, which is covered in another video. Okay, so if you ever need to, you do have that ability, but if you are using Visual Composer, 99 times out of 100, you'll probably be clicking on the Backend Editor to use Visual Composer to its fullest capability. Alright, so that's just a quick basic overview of Visual Composer, a commercial third-party plugin that you can add on to your WordPress installation. For a full set of instructions, you should visit the vendor website. Once you purchase the plugin, you'll have full documentation on how to use this add-on plugin to your WordPress site.